Now in this video we're gonna create our background for our game, and we're gonna use the 3D object that calls a quad. So let's create one. Go to the game object, 3D, and hit quad. Now this should be called background, and we want to remove the mesh collider. Just simply we can reset its position, and now it's all zeros. The mesh collider is basically for 3D, so we don't need it for this game. Now we want to duplicate this by holding the Ctrl D and call it simply ground. Now in order to give our ground and background like an image, we're gonna need to add a material for them. So we wanna create it right now. We'll go to assets and we hit the right click button and create a new folder called materials. And in this material we're gonna create, not a folder, yes, create material. We're gonna call this one, let's say, ground material. Duplicate F2, and it's a background material. Now selecting one of the materials over here, we'll go to the section that's called shader. And shaders are the section that is responsible for how our image is rendered. Now it's a big topic and we can't explain it right now, but you can go to the Unity manual or scripts and you can study this topic, but it's a very wide topic. So on this option we're gonna go to the mobile, particles, and alpha blended. Now as you can see, now we can select our texture. It's an image, and we're gonna select the background. Yes, it's a background, and we're gonna go to the ground material and do the same, mobile, particles, and alpha blended, and select the ground. Yes. What we're gonna do is gonna go to the background, select it here from the hierarchy, and let's see where it goes. Yes, it's under this section. As you can see, we go to the mesh renderer materials, and now we can drag and drop. Let's say this one is the background. I'm gonna select this one. Now as you can see, this is our background. We'll go to the ground and do the same. The ground material. Now this is the ground. Excellent. Now we're gonna select this one, position it to the 0, and here -6 is fine. It's just beneath it. And let's continue by going and make our scripts. So let's see, I don't have it, so create a new folder called scripts, and in it we're going to create another folder called background scripts. Now inside the background scripts we're going to create a new C# script, and we're gonna call it background scaler. Now as the name indicates, we're gonna scale our background via code through this script, so that's for that. I'll select both of our quads over here, and we're gonna add the BG scaler to them, and as you can see, now it added a new component, and it's a C# script that just we added. Now moving to our first code description. So double click the BG scaler and it will open your Visual Studio or Mono Develop. Now what we're gonna do is go to we want to use the code and adjust our background to fill in the orthographic camera size, this size over here. So this way we can support multiple sizes and not just give him a number like 5 or 6, and just instead we're gonna use the code to fill in the blank. So basically it's more for multiple screens and such. Like if you have a small iPhone or a big Galaxy or a big notepad or whatever, it will fill in as the device's screen. So that's what we're gonna do. We'll go to our Visual Studio, and here we're just gonna need the start function, and what we're gonna create is a new variable called height, and it's gonna be equal to the camera dot main dot orthographic size times 2. Now the reason why it's 2f, because this is a float number. The camera.main.orthographic size, it's a float number, and if we just leave it like times 2 and without the f, it will give us an error. So that's why we added it. Click on the save. Now I'll just move it over here so this can be centered. It's more convenient for the eyes. Now we want to create another variable called width. It's going to be equal to the height multiplied by the screen dot width divided by the screen dot height. And this is going to be the width or the X scale for our wide. Now we're going to check in the start method that if GameObject.name is equal to background, then the transform dot local size, local why is not giving me, it's a local scale, yes, is equal to new vector 3, and it's gonna give it for the width, the height, and the 0, semicolon. Now it's very simple code. It's that if the name object is the background, then give it a new scale, which we did over here. The height is for the y-axis, the width is for the x-axis, and the 0 for the z-axis. So because of it's a 2D game, so we don't need the z-axis so much. Now just don't forget to save. As you can see, now it turned out to be green. Now every change in the code I recommend for saving, because it won't apply the effects that we changed on the Unity editor, so pay attention for that. Now as we saved here, let's go to the Unity editor, and because the code is inside the BG scaler, and the BG scaler is a component inside my background over here, it should take effect. So let's try it over here. Hit the play button. Ta-da! Now we have our background filled in as the device's scale. So we want to scale the ground width and height also. So what we're gonna do is take an else statement and copy this statement over here and simply give this hardcore number 5 and this one is plus 3. Sorry, 3. Now it's basically just to save, yes, Control S for saving, and let's go to the Unity editor. Now we can't see our ground over here. Let's go to the scene, but I'll explain a little bit about the width. The width is a little bit bigger over here and over here because here we want to spawn our enemies to start from this point and not from this point, so the game won't look funny or something. It will start over here and the zombie or obstacle will continue moving forward, or the camera moving to this side. And here we're gonna delete the game objects of the obstacles or zombie. So that's why it's a little bit bigger. And the reason why the background is in front of our ground over here, because they are using the same depth in the z-axis. So if we'll go to the background over here and give it a 1, now as you can see, now we can see the ground. If we'll return it to 0, and that's it. That's how you can solve this problem. So just don't forget, if we are in play mode, we can the changes won't take effect. So we needed to do this over here, and maybe I'm just gonna scale it a little bit just to make it easier for the eye. Sorry, 5, let's say. Yes, this should be fine. Yes, this should be fine. So basically, if it says 0, the background will be in front of the ground. But if I give it a positive 1 or 2, it should be on the background. So that's for that. Now if we return to the code, and if you want to, let's say, give this one a height and save, this is what you'll get. Just hit the play mode. Now it's gonna rescale the image, the ground image, as big as the background image, and we don't want that. The reason why it gives us this big scale, because I drew the ground image 512 on 512. So basically, if you can cut it in half, 512 over 200, let's say, you can use the height. But simply, you can just apply the number 5 and it should be fine. And we'll just return this to 5. And now what we're gonna do is go to our background and ground and make them scrollable so it can be repeated. Now we need to go to the assets, go to sprites, backgrounds, and select both the ground and the background. And here under the advanced, we're going to change it from the wrap mode from clamp to repeat, and from bilinear to point. Hit apply. Now we're going to create a new C# script out of S's over here, scripts, let's say background scripts, and now create BG looper, and we're gonna select these two and to add the BG looper. Now double click on the video looper. Down here we're gonna just leave it. Let's set a new float. Float called speed. It's gonna equal to 0.1 f. Now the others are private. Vector 2 called offset. It's gonna be like 0, 0. It's supposed to be a new V2, but you can do like the same thing over here. Just duplicate that. Control C, Control V. What the hell? Okay, now this one and these two are the same. It's called offstuted. Vector 2.0 is the same as the new vector, which have 0 values in both. So let's copy here. You will see. Okay. Now the other one is a private material called met, and here we're gonna call it with the get component as render dot material. Save. Now using our mat material, we're gonna set the offset. I'm having clumsy fingers right now, so get component. I'm sorry, mat dot get texture offset. Now what we're gonna use is a string exactly like this, otherwise it won't work. So just make sure that you type in as a string the same text underscore main text with the capital M and T. Now after we set everything on the start function, let's move on to the update function that we want to render every second. I believe it's a second or whatever. And now we're gonna set the offset dot x equals, sorry, it's a plus equals speed, this one over here, multiplied by time dot delta time. Now we're gonna use the mat dot set texture offset equals to main text comma offset. Let's see. Here we have called the offset and now we are using it. I believe that we are ready to go. Let's just save. Don't forget to save. Go back. Wait for it. Excellent. Now as you can see, both of the ground and the background are moving, and here we have the speed. That's why, because it's a public float, we can adjust it from the editor, and these two are private, so we can't actually see them. But here we can manipulate by 2, and as you can see now it's running. Maybe I'll just leave this one to 0.1. As you can see, this one is moving slowly and this is faster. We can adjust it to be negative, and it will be it's gonna go backwards, and everything under your control, so use it wisely. The only thing left to do is just go to the ground, sorry, and add a box collider 2D, and that's it for that. Go to the assets, prefabs, create a new folder called background, prefabs, and just drag both of them over here with the scripts and everything. Thank you guys for watching this video so far. I hope you enjoyed it as I am. On the next video we will create the jump animation and try to keep going with our project.